Can I really retire at 65 with £250,000? And how much is the triple lock worth to me in a low growth scenario? Let's find out. The tool I'll be using is available free at calculatemypension.co.uk. Feel free to plug in your own numbers as we go, and you'll have your own answer by the end of this video. So here at the start, there is a question about my goal, and in my case, it is really the first one, to work out what age I can afford to retire. Next, I enter the month and year of my birth to determine my current age. I'm also going to tick the box already retired, as I want to see what I can afford if I retire now. Next is the most important question. Do I have an income in mind? If I choose the option, I'd like help estimating, the tool uses the Retirement Living Standards published by Pensions UK, which describe 3 levels of spending in later life: minimum, moderate, and comfortable. I'll choose moderate as a starting point. Next is where I provide the source of my savings and then enter the actual amounts. I have £200,000 in my pension fund and £50,000 in an ISA. Next is the state pension. The state pension age is currently transitioning from 66 to 67 for people born between April 1960 and March 1961, and my birthday falls in that range. So payments will start when I am 66 years and 5 months old. As I have a full national insurance record, I can assume I will receive a full state pension. You can check your own national insurance record using the link provided, and if there are gaps, you can untick this box and enter your own forecast amount. And here's the result. My affordable income is £2,050 a month. And against the target for a moderate standard of living, that leaves a shortfall of 25%. Before I go any further, let me try one thing. Let me switch the standard of living down to minimum. Watch the numbers. The target drops, and my shortfall turns into a surplus of 77%. So the honest picture is that a basic retirement is very comfortably affordable, and my real affordable income sits some way between the minimum and moderate standards. Keep that in mind, because the whole rest of this video is about how close I can get to moderate, and, at the end, when I could reach it. Let me put the target back to moderate. But this is just the base result. I want to know more about how it was calculated, what assumptions were made, and what happens if they change. So I'm going to register for free here and get access to the main site. Once I have registered, I have access to the analysis page here, showing a breakdown of my retirement income after tax. This shows my net income in today's money, so all the figures are adjusted for inflation, which makes it much easier to compare income at different ages. If I turn off the today's money switch, I can see the real projected values instead, but the patterns are much harder to read, so I'll switch straight back to the inflation-adjusted view. Each bar shows where my income is coming from in any given year. The shortfall from my target income is shown in red, and because I'm aiming at moderate, you can see a band of red across every year. That's the gap I'm trying to close. I can click on the legend item for shortfall to remove it from the chart if I prefer, as it is the same amount throughout my retirement. So what we have here is state pension in green, starting when I reach 66 and 5 months, only about 18 months away for me. Pension payments in blue, with the light blue being the 25% tax-free element, and ISA payments in orange. The model assumes my tax-free cash is taken from my uncrystallised fund, which means I keep getting 25% of every pension payment tax-free. Early in retirement here, pension payments are targeted to utilise the full tax-free personal allowance, but no more, maximising tax efficiency. Now let's take a look at the assumptions being used in the projection that I can see here. These are the standard assumptions set by the Financial Conduct Authority for use in pension projections, with a fund growth of 7% and inflation of 2%. I will have a look at changing these figures by trying different growth scenarios in a moment, but first I want to look at the assumption for fund charges, as this is something I can actually have an influence on through my choice of funds. To change this assumption, I will open the Fund Charges section here. As I have my funds invested in low-cost index trackers, I'm going to select the low charges assumption of 0.25%. And you can see that has already made a difference. My shortfall has eased from 24.8% to 22.5%. Something a lot of people don't realize is just how much fund charges cost in the long run. If I switch to the fund charges chart, I can see the total charges I will expect to pay on my funds over my whole retirement is just over £13,000. Now look what happens if I revert to the original 0.75%. Over my whole retirement, I would expect to pay over £38,000 in fund charges. And if I try the high charge level of 1.5%, I would end up paying almost £75,000 in fund charges over my retirement. And that would equate to 19.8% of my total net income in retirement. A charge level of 1.5% doesn't sound much, but 19.8% is the more relevant figure here. If you find this information useful, please give the video a thumbs up. It really does help. I'll reset the assumption back to low and now look at another assumption in the projection. I'm going to change the projection end age here in the control section. The default assumption is based on the FCA rules for pension drawdown projections, which specify an age of 99. But I might consider this too prudent. I can take a look at average life expectancy by following this link. If I enter my age of 65, male, I can see that my average life expectancy is 86. There is only a 1 in 10 chance that I survive to age 99, and I have a 1 in 4 chance of reaching age 94. So 99 is perhaps more cautious than I need to be. I'm going to bring that down to 94. And now, my affordable income is up to £2,176 a month. So, just by updating two assumptions to better reflect my own circumstances and preferences, I've narrowed my shortfall from 24.8% at the start to 20.1%. Now I want to understand what happens to my retirement income under different growth scenarios. The tool gives me 3 FCA growth scenarios to choose from: low, intermediate, and high. I'm currently on intermediate, which uses fund growth of 7% and inflation of 2%. Now let me switch to the low scenario. This drops fund growth to just 2%, with inflation at 0. My affordable income eases back slightly to £2,135 a month, and the shortfall widens a little to 21.7%. Now that is a remarkably soft landing. I've just cut my assumed fund growth from 7% down to 2%, and my income has barely moved. So what is holding it up? Switching to the income breakdown chart gives the answer. In this scenario, inflation is 0, but my state pension has a minimum annual increase of 2.5% because of the triple lock guarantee. So my state pension keeps rising in real terms, and it arrives in about 18 months' time, funding a growing proportion of my retirement income and cushioning almost all of the hit from weaker growth. Which raises an obvious question. How much of my retirement is actually resting on the triple lock surviving? Well, this can be answered by a new feature recently added to the calculator. It was added in response to a comment from Albedo 0.39, who pointed out that it is highly unlikely that the triple lock will continue to exist indefinitely. In the Fund Growth and Inflation section, there is a new checkbox labelled Triple Lock Applied. It's on by default. If I untick it, the state pension still rises with inflation, but it loses that guaranteed minimum increase, so it stops gaining ground in real terms. With it unticked, my affordable income falls by over £300 a month, and my shortfall jumps from 21.7% all the way to 33.7%. So in the low growth scenario, the triple lock is extremely valuable. Let me turn the triple lock back on. Now let me switch to the high scenario, fund growth of 12% and inflation of 4%. The triple lock switch disappears because a minimum state pension increase of 2.5% has no effect if inflation is at 4%. My affordable income climbs to £2,520 a month, and the shortfall narrows to 7.5%. Better again, but I still don't reach the moderate target. I can also investigate persistent high inflation. If I put growth back to intermediate and nudge inflation up to 3%, my affordable income drops from £2,176 to £2,000, a cut of around 8%, which is a lot to lose in real spending power. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, please take a moment to subscribe. Also, now is a good moment to click the thumbs up icon below. Much appreciated. Now let's switch to the fund values chart, which shows how my pension and my ISA are projected to change over the course of my retirement. And also switch back to the intermediate growth scenario. You can see my ISA, in orange, does most of the early work, topping up my income and running down to nothing by around age 70. My pension fund, in blue, dips a little at the very start, but once the state pension arrives, it takes a big share of the load. The pension fund then recovers and actually grows, peaking at around £240,000 by age 70, because between the state pension and my ISA, I barely need to touch it. Then, when my ISA runs out, I start to draw my pension again, and later on in retirement, I spend it down until it reaches zero at exactly the age I've specified it should last to. Now, everything so far has assumed I stop work today, at 65. But the tool can answer a different and very useful question. Not, can I afford to retire now, but at what age can I afford to retire? Let me show you how. But first, I'm going to reset the assumptions I changed. You'll understand why in a moment. To find out when I can afford to retire, I'll go back to the initial inputs and untick the Already Retired box. Now the calculator does something very clever. It searches for the earliest age at which I could afford my moderate income, right through to the end of the projection. And here's my answer. With my current savings and no further contributions, I could afford a full moderate standard of living at 70 years and 8 months. Now watch what happens when I switch the charges back to the low level. A switch to a low-cost fund brings that forward by 10 months to 69 years and 10 months. Note the significance of this result. Just reducing my charges by 0.5% would give me almost an extra year of retirement. And bringing the projection end age into 94 takes off another 9 months to 69 years and 1 month. But of course, I'm still working and still paying into my pension and my ISA. Let me add that in. I'll enter my salary of £50,000, set my pension contribution to 8% of that, and add £250 a month into my ISA. And watch the retirement age come down further to 68 years and 3 months. So instead of working to age 70, I could reach a full moderate retirement at 68, just over 3 years from now, simply by keeping my charges low, being realistic about how long I'll need the money to last, and carrying on saving while I'm still working. So, can I retire at 65 with £250,000? On a minimum standard of living, very comfortably, with a surplus of 77% and an income well above the basics. On a moderate standard of living, not quite today, I'm 25% short on standard assumptions, narrowing to about 20% once I lower my charges and trim the projection age. But with low fund charges, a more realistic life expectancy, and carrying on paying in while I'm still working, the moderate standard of living comes within reach at 68. If you want to run the numbers for your own situation, head to calculatemypension.co.uk. Everything you have seen here is completely free to use. If you have made it this far, you might also be interested in the premium version of the website, which is launching soon. That's where you'll be able to plan as a couple, find the most tax-efficient withdrawal strategy, stress test your plan against a market crash, investigate purchasing an annuity, build in cash buffers to protect you in a downturn, model inheritance tax on your estate, and download the whole plan to Excel. Click the button to join the waitlist for a launch discount. And remember, this is all for illustrative purposes only and not financial advice. Please leave a thumbs up if you think more people would be interested in using Calculate My Pension. Please also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, including details of the premium calculator. Thanks for watching.